Hi everybody, my name is Luis Gutierrez. I'm with the Geek Press, and as you can see, we got some. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell sometimes right here, but we got some new stuff right here. I'm trying out a new kind of look because I'm tired of my face being zoomed in all the way, and when I'm like in post, this gets kind of annoying. So yeah, we got our new little banner right here, thanks to Sir Jacob Knight, and we got all of our social medias right here. So make sure to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and of course YouTube. But you know what? You guys are all awesome, and I know you're already following us on all of them. So these are for newcomers. But today we got news about how Microsoft tried to buy Nintendo 20 years ago. There's a big nerf that happened in Warzone, and we're gonna talk about how Microsoft is potentially making a DualSense controller. And let's just jump into all of this, and we're gonna talk about how Microsoft tried to buy Nintendo 20 years ago. So back before Microsoft made the original Xbox, they had tried to buy Nintendo instead. And thanks to a Bloomberg report, we got a lot of news on what happened and how Microsoft failed in trying to buy up Nintendo. Steve Ballmer, ex-CEO of Microsoft who currently owns the LA Clippers, went into a meeting with Nintendo to see if they'd be interested in the deal. And according to the article, they quote, laughed their asses off for about an hour. And that's how the meeting went for roughly an hour. It was just Nintendo laughing at them. And back in January of 2000, head of business development Bob McBurn met with Nintendo again to try to work out a deal, stating that Xbox would build the hardware for Nintendo games to be played on. But obviously, that didn't work out either. It's fun to think about what would have happened if Microsoft had been successful in buying Nintendo and how different things would have been. But at the same time, the fact that they didn't do it is great because it creates more competition, and that's great for us, the consumers. It's funny to think about that 20 years ago, when Microsoft was first getting involved in the console wars, they really tried to buy up Nintendo, and they kept this a secret until now. And if you really think about it too, it's fucking hilarious that like Microsoft had the balls to go to Nintendo, which is like one of you know, the pride and joys that Japan has. They're like, yo, let us have this. And they just laughed in their faces, like the disrespect right there. And it's even more funny to think about now because it's like, when you think of Microsoft and you think of Nintendo, they're like super buddy buddy now. They were like the first to really push crossplay. They did it with Fortnite, they did it with Minecraft, and they work so well together now. Like, they're really fucking good friends with one another, essentially. And the fact that they tried to do this 20 years ago is even more funny, and I'm happy it didn't work out because, like I said, this creates more competition. And if Microsoft would have bought Nintendo, it would have sucked because I think Nintendo would have lost that, like, they would have lost that charm. But at the same time, maybe Nintendo would have been fucking put in check with a lot of other scummy shit they do. But yeah, now let's talk about the Warzone nerf that's happened. So let's jump into that story. If you've been playing Call of Duty Warzone lately, you may have noticed how the Black Ops Cold War weapons have broken the game in a whole new way. All you really need is 2 or 3 guns to win a match, that being the DMR, the MAC-10, and the other being the Dual Domati, and you can win pretty much any game with any of those guns. It's gotten so bad to where people have sworn to stop playing the game until a nerf comes to balance up the meta once again. And so far it looks like we have gotten our prayers answered. Well, kind of. So the DMR will have an increase of recoil overall for the weapon, and the Type 63 is going to have the same nerf as well. The MAC-10 is having its headshot multiplier decreased, and anyone using dual pistols now will have more of a hipfire spread and decreased in damage range too. And it's important to note that these patches are only going to be for Call of Duty Warzone and are not going to apply to Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And honestly, it's pretty nice that this is happening because I haven't really been playing Warzone too much lately, but the few times I've been getting fucking lasered by those dually pistols. I've been getting fucking lasered by the DMR and the MAC-10. They are incredibly broken. I know, like, people love to shout to the gods, like, come on, this game's broken, but like, no, this really fucking broke the game. And it's awesome now that, like, they're kind of nerfing these. It's gonna have more recoil. That's awesome. Me personally, I would like to see, like, decrease the damage just a little bit, just a little bit. That's all I'm asking for. And there's also something else I forgot to mention about my last story. So a lot of this, a lot of where I got my information from is from Eurogamer, but it's behind a Bloomberg paywall. So if you guys want to read the whole story, go over to Bloomberg, and if you want to pay for it, go for it. But Eurogamer does a really great job, and there's a lot of good quotes in there too. And I just kind of go into the meat of the story about Nintendo and Microsoft, something I forgot to mention. But yeah, I highly recommend you look at Eurogamer's coverage on it too, because it was super, super good. And those guys are professionals. But yeah, let's jump into the next story and we talk about how Microsoft is potentially creating a DualSense controller. It's been a few months now since both the Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5 have been out in the wild. Both have some amazing features and stand out in their own respective ways. But one thing that separates the PS5 from the Xbox Series is a DualSense controller. In a nutshell, the PS5 controller adds an immersive layer that goes into whatever game you're playing. So if you're playing COD and you shoot the trigger, it might be a little heavier. And if you're playing Spider-Man, the trigger will be a little bit more faster. And of course, that's just one feature, but there's a lot of them as well. In a post-launch survey, Xbox asked a series of questions on how they can improve. And one of the questions asked if players would be interested in a DualSense feature, much like the PS5, but to be on the Xbox. As of right now, nothing's confirmed that they're going to make their own DualSense or not, but if they do, it's safe to say Microsoft won't just rip off PlayStation, and they'll just put their own spin on it. Do you think we'll be seeing an Xbox DualSense controller in the future? Let us know. But honestly, this is like really cool that they put this in like a questionnaire, because the DualSense is like remarkable. I'm an Xbox guy, I've said it in the past, but I do have to respect Sony for what they do. The DualSense controller looks fucking amazing, and sometimes it's like, damn, maybe I should have gotten a DualSense controller so I could have played this. But one fucking thing that's really gotten me upset is that I have just bought an Elite controller for Christmas. So it was like a Christmas gift to myself. And I'm like, if you motherfuckers make a DualSense within this year, I'm gonna be mad, because that means I'm gonna have to fucking get a DualSense Pro controller, which is like, you know, how boo-hoo, first world problems, but those controllers are fucking expensive, and I really love using this controller. But if they do actually make a DualSense controller, that would be awesome, and I would really appreciate that, because, you know, that is like next gen shit right there. But with all that being said, my name is Luis Gutierrez. I want to thank you guys for watching me today. I know there was a lot of crazy fucked up shit going on in the world with Trump and his supporters and that whole crazy shit show. They could all go fuck themselves. And I just wanted to give you guys some, you know, escapism right now, because I know, like I said, if you've been paying attention to like the news, shit's fucking crazy right now, and it's bonkers. So I just want to help provide some escapism. And I know there's a lot going on in the world of gaming, but these are the stories I found the most interesting. And I'm sorry, I was kind of lacking it this last few weeks of making YouTube videos. Got no excuse for that, even though they're kind of slow news days, but that's still no excuse. If you guys can please like and subscribe, that would really mean a lot. And if you could follow us on all of our social media platforms right here, I'd really appreciate that as well. And lastly, I want to end my videos like how I end all of my streams on Twitch. If you guys ever need anyone to talk to, literally for whatever reason, big or small, feel free to hit us up, okay? I have a Discord, and you can ask for the link, but make sure you grab it while it's hot, because the link does expire within 24 hours. And I know this world can seem like a crazy, fucked up place, but it could be less crazy, less fucked up if you have someone to talk to. There's plenty of people on our Discord, and we're all super friendly, and we love to chit-chat with each other. But with all that being said, I'll probably make a video in the near future. I'm going to try to have one up tomorrow too. And I'll see you when I see you. Take care, everybody.